Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. It's alright.
Welcome, dear parishioners. I hope you all are doing well and enjoying the rains. Do remember to wear your masks, wash your hands, and stay safe. Let me introduce to you a very humble, smart, talented, and fun-loving priest whom we are blessed to have in our midst. Presenting to you, Father Gerald Fernandes. Welcome to your new home, Father, our beautiful parish of Our Lady of Immaculate Conception. You are the 24th parish priest of our parish, and we are glad to have you with us.
Thank you, Naomi. It's been a great delight to be here in your midst, and I'm looking forward to exercising my pastoral ministry in this beautiful parish, of which I've heard so much about.
Father, I was wondering, when Cardinal Oswald appointed you and asked you if you would move to IC as our parish priest, what was your reaction and what was going through your mind then?
This is a very personal question that you're asking. There have been really delightful moments when I first heard it, because Our Lady of Immaculate Conception is a very happening parish in the Archdiocese of Mumbai. But secretly, I was thinking about the challenges that this parish is going to throw up. It's not about living with the expectations of what people would expect of me. But from my point of view, I was thinking, would I be able to accept the challenges of this parish being such a large parish, and then when you reach the sunset of your life, I'm already over 70, I was thinking, would I be able to fulfill the task assignment that has been given to me? But I said, I need to accept this challenge, because if my superiors and the legitimate authority has appointed me, I think I need to plunge into it.
I'm pretty sure you're going to do a very good job, Father, as our new parish priest. And we are very excited to have you here with us. So, Father, what was the first thing you noticed when you came to our parish? The absolute first thing?
Yeah. When I entered the presence of this parish, it reminded me of St. John the Baptist, where I was presently appointed.
Okay.
So when I looked around, I began to see the church as a kind of a miniature St. John the Baptist. Because if you put them side by side, you will see the structure, architecture is almost the same. This is, I think, could be equivalent to an heritage church like St. John the Baptist.
Did you meet anyone, any parishioners when you came here?
No, when I first came in here, I came into the parish house. It was in the early hours of the morning.
Okay.
I did meet Father Jyoti, and then he welcomed me, and the other fathers were in their room. And then later on, I met Father Harry. I spent about 45 minutes, and then I left.
Okay, I think it was the day they were leaving and preparing to go, so
Yes.
they were in a hurry. So, Father, you were born in the 1950s, so life must have been very different during those days, especially since we were all getting our identity as a nation at that time. So, what was it like growing up during that time? Like, would you like to tell us something about your childhood days and your family?
Okay. Very briefly, I'll let you into a secret. I was not born in India.
Okay.
I was born in East Africa, in Kenya. My parents married and they went there in the early 40s. I was born in 50. East Africa, that was Kenya, Uganda, Tanganyika, was under the British. And my father was working for the British government at that time when I was born there. So I have rich memories, and there was a whole section of the Goans that had settled there, a few smattering of other people from other countries, but largely from India. And they were working in various capacities there. So my childhood memories are interacting even with the local people. I knew Swahili well, that was the local language. But my stay in Kenya was not long, till the age of 14. And then I returned back to India and I came to Goa.
So did you mix along well with the people there? As mostly Indians, you said.
Yeah, we had a very kind of community feeling, you see, because largely there was also a Goan high school there put up, and all other activities were there.
Okay, so how was the transition when you moved to India? Was it a very heavy or
Not
easy to slide in?
really, you know. I would say it was a very smooth transition because Kenya at that time had not reached the heights of development as it is today. You know, it was still in its infancy stage. They were still finding things. The railway was there, the roads were there, schools were there. There weren't too many colleges, but the countryside and the urban setup was fairly developed.
And which place in India did you move to?
Then I moved to Goa.
Oh, so you're from Goa then?
Yes.
South Goa? Somewhere in
I'm
South?
from the south.
Okay, so तुका कोई बुरे लगता गोया की Bombay?
Mumbai.
Mumbai, really? I am a total Goa fan. I could go to Goa anytime now. So your family is situated here or in
My
Goa?
sister is in Goa, and I have two brothers who have settled in the UK. I was holding a British passport when I came to India until 1970. That's when in fact, a little earlier, I joined the seminary, and then I discovered it's no point in continuing to hold the British passport because I had already made an option of living in India and serving India.
So you were in.
So then I surrendered the passport.
Okay. So you were in the Pilar Seminary then,
Yes.
Goa. Okay. So how many siblings do you have, father?
I have two brothers and one sister.
Two brothers. So you are the youngest?
Third.
Third, yeah. So so you must be very pampered at home.
Yeah, but I left home at an early age. By 15, I was out and I joined the seminary at 15 after the SSC. And then we started our philosophical studies along with college. Now, we were sent to Nagpur. So I studied in SFS College, that's St. Francis de Sales College, alongside with our philosophical studies. So that was the arrangement.
Okay.
So by the time we completed philosophy, we were also graduates. I majored in literature.
So did you have to come to Bombay and learn in the Archdiocese of Bombay again?
No, that's a later stage. So when I got back to Pilar, I had to continue with my theological studies. We were sent to Mangalore at St. Joseph's Seminary. So I spent 4 years there, and in my final year, that is the fourth year of theology, I had decided to leave the congregation.
Okay.
And through discernment, there was no issue with the congregation. I was very happy. But largely my formation was as a religious. Then I decided to join the seculars, and I made an application to the then Cardinal Valerian Gracious. I was the last priest who was ordained by him, and then he fell ill. I was ordained in 78 May. Cardinal Gracious fell ill in September and he passed away. So I have fond memories of him because I was the last priest that he ordained.
You're one of the lucky ones. So, Father, when did you decide to become a priest and how did you break the news to your parents?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I have nobody to be a role model for me. You know, I began to see the first stirrings of my vocation when I was barely 7 years. I know you would say it's too young for you to make a decision at that time. I nurtured it myself in the sense I would go to church, I would attend the Eucharist, I would serve. That time the masses were in Latin, and so we had to answer those responses in Latin.
So you're fluent in Latin?
Then later on we studied in the seminary.
Okay.
Of course now from non-use, but if we get back into it, I guess we would be able to again converse in Latin.
Father, you mentioned you had to move from Goa and then to Mangalore, and so how was your seminary days like?
Seminary days were very interesting. That brings me to the point. Formation has been excellent. In fact, seminary training for most of us is an all-round development. It's not just one, academics or theology or philosophy, but we also had the other aspect, sports, etc.
So, are you the athletic types?
I represented my college in football, in hockey. I play volleyball, cricket as a bowler. So we had exposure, to all.
You can join us for our IC sports events.
I thought as much, but I'm a little afraid now. The reason is not because I don't want to get onto the field, but with an injury, it means then the load comes to my co-pastors. That's
injury
one of the
for sports people
most scary part at this stage, where your balance also is not at it used to be in earlier years, But these are my credentials as regards sports are concerned, and have.
Father, you were a priest for 43 years, serving in the Archdiocese of Bombay. You must have had many different experiences in all the parishes that you were assigned to. You even played a major role in renovating and reconstructing the Amboli Church. Would you like to tell us your experiences in those parishes?
I'll tell you specifically at Amboli.
Okay.
I was telling somebody the other day, when I moved in after 6 days, they asked me, how does it feel to be here? And I gave a very quick answer, and I said, to have seen one parish in the Archdiocese is to have seen all, with little variations here and there. But my stay at Amboli has been quite an interesting one. It was filled with conflict over the issue of the construction of the new church, St. Blaise. There was a whole body of people who wanted the old church, and they wanted to do a few renovations, etc., and retain its original structure. While there was also a large segment and section of the community who wanted a new church. The struggle went on at the meetings. We could see it was a clear divide, 3 against 2, and we were 2 priests. We were sandwiched in between. We had to negotiate ourselves. It was actually a kind of a minefield which was placed there. But in my 6th year when I was there, I served them an ultimatum. I said, the monies that we have collected, this was at the turn of the century. This was 1999, just before we began the new millennium. So I had to serve them an ultimatum, and I said, we have collected a sizable amount of money, and if we don't start the church, 55% will go to the government. So they also began to get into a panic mode and realized something had to be done. They somehow dissolved their differences, and they started working together. And within 3 months, we launched out. We started the whole project.
It must have taken a long time just to decide to make the decision.
My predecessors also had a lot of problems over this issue of the construction of the new church. At that time, the estimated costs were just 2 crores, 38. We managed to. Today, I think if by present standards, it would have gone to about 25 to 30 crores. That's the kind of, you see the change in 20 years of the economy.
Better done back then.
Yeah, it was. So that was, but I've learned one thing there which I need to emphasize. Unless you go through the humbling experience of Christ, you can achieve nothing. That's the lesson I learned from building Amboli Church. Unless you go through the humbling experience of Christ, you can achieve nothing.
That's a really nice message to all our parishioners, Father. So, Father, you've been present in our parish for about 2 weeks now, and you've brought about a few pastoral revisions. So, seems like pastoral care is one of the most important things for you.
Yeah, that's been my passion. My passion is to be concerned about the well-being of the parishioners, not only economically, but spiritually, psychologically, emotionally, the whole person, the dignity of the person. And I think that was emphasized by our former Saint John Paul II. In fact, all his encyclicals, he emphasized heavily on this, the dignity of the human person. And the dignity of the human person is you touch the whole person, spiritually, psychologically, emotionally. And that gives you that sense of, fulfillment to do this. That's why administration, if you ask me, is my weak point. I remember one parishioner who told me once, he says, "Father, you are a good priest but a bad administrator." And I said, you have struck really the pulse of analyzing me in this matter.
It's not really a bad, if it's about your priorities, you prioritize your pastoral care over your administration, so that's good. So, Father, you seem like a very calm person. Was it always like this, or were you a naughty fellow as a child?
I would say, I have been very composed from early age. I guess that is because I joined the seminary pretty early. 15 years is an age which one would have been out in the world and, throwing yourself around, accepting challenges. So we kind of, should I say that I lived a kind of a sheltered, protected life. So that's the reason why I got into this whole mold of being calm and composed, tranquility, etc. But of course, occasionally in my earlier years, especially when exercising the pastoral ministry, I have been a little kind of, I wouldn't say aggressive, and violent in my speech, etc. But I communicated what I felt as being what's needed, to put across.
But did that point get you in trouble with your siblings, or were they calm as?
Not really. Once they realized that I had joined the seminary, then they kind of distance yourself. Okay, you are the holy Joe. You do what you want.
Okay. So, Father, what hobbies did you build on, like apart from sports and athletics?
Music and reading. I'm very passionate about reading. You ask me, I have gone through volumes of everything, whether it's love story, Mills and Boons were they in the older days, then you had the Enid Blyton, and then you had crime, then also all Charles Dickens, poetry, Coleridge, all the other greats. I have gone through all that. Shakespeare was one of those.
So is he your favorite author, if you had to choose one?
Shakespeare was, because that was the time when English literature exposed.
He is one of a kind. So, Father, if we could arrange for a guitar right now, would you mind playing for us?
Yeah, let me just say a few things about the music scene at the time when I was studying. Elvis Presley was there, Cliff Richard was there, and the Beatles came on the scene when they revolutionized music. And then my favorites were Simon and Garfunkel, the duo. But I want to lead you into something when I talked about singing. There's some aspect which perhaps I need to highlight. I've learned what is called the solfege system. I don't know if you know what the solfege system is. The solfege system is sight reading. Okay. You give me a piece now here, and I would be able to, in 15 minutes, tell you what the melody is. And if it is also a choral piece, soprano, tenor, bass, alto, I'll read all those, I'll teach that, and then we'll be able to put it together. The solfege system is nothing else but learning the 8 notes on the scale. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do. That's on the ascending scale. And I come down. Do, si, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Okay. Now, in compositions, whenever they do, I have not gone through any school of music to learn this. It's all self-study. A combination of these 8 notes, you put them together in various ways and it gives you the harmony. Now, for instance, I've sung for you the scale. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do. I'll drop notes and I will sing for you. Do, mi, re, fa, mi, sol, fa, la, sol, si, la, do. Do, la, si, sol, la, fa, sol, mi, fa, re, do. Now, these combinations which you put together, gives you the melody. And you do not need an instrument. That's why I'm not an instrumentalist. But I took the guitar because sometimes in a composition there are sharps and there are flats. And if you don't hit that sharp properly, that whole piece would go
fall apart.
Askew.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the reason why I had. But then I said, pastime, I would strum and do a little. I attempted on classical guitar also for some time, but with kind of schedules which are there, I just gave it up because you need many hours of practice. So having said this, I thought I would sing for you Simon and Garfunkel. This has been my favorite.
Okay.
I've got the text before me. In case I do falter, please excuse me. I'm not an instrumentalist.
Yeah, sure, Father.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk to you again, because a vision softly creeping left at sea while I was sleeping. And the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sound of silence. In restless dreams I walked alone, narrow streets of cobblestone, neath the halo of a street lamp. I turned my collar to the cold and damp, when my eyes were stared by the flash of a neon light that stood the night and touched the sound of silence. And in the naked light I saw 10,000 people, maybe more. People talking without speaking, people hearing without listening, people writing songs that voices never share. Hearing the sound of silence. And the people bowed in praise to the neon gods they made. And the sign fleshed out its warning in the word that it was forming. And the sign said the words of the prophet are written on the subway wall, tenement hall, and echo in the sound of silence.
That was really, really impressive, Father. I'm pretty sure all our musicians at home are really loving this.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. And Father, do you know any other instruments or?
No, only the guitar.
Okay, but you're very good at that. It's just one instrument. So, Father, we've heard that you're not on any social media platforms and you even prefer to not use a smartphone. So, in today's generation, we don't really get to see that a lot. Even the kids, senior citizens, even the Pope is tweeting from time to time these days. So, how you are known to be so connected to the people? How do you manage to stay connected in spite being off the internet?
In fact, when I was leaving St. John the Baptist and I was on the way, I said I must make an attempt to get into the media. And so I'm making these preparations and I'm going to launch out onto that because I know you can't do without it. That's absolute. And I knew this question would arise at some stage. You know, I had my inhibitions about it, but today I began to see, of course there could be a cruel world outside who could somehow, get you into a bind because of certain things, either posted, not posted. And it's quite scary in today's world when somebody could, create something and get you drawn into a controversy. And that, of course, can destroy your whole kind of approach to your priestly ministry. And today people are gullible, they just take in what they hear.
Yes.
Is this true? Somebody sends a post about me saying, it is alleged. That kind of destroys your entire ministry and your credibility is lost and you can no longer be effective. But I think we need to counter it by somehow or the other being bold enough to venture and to launch out into this, and I'm preparing myself to do that.
Father, you're already doing a very good job by staying connected to the people. We've heard a lot about you connecting to your parishioners, and I'm sure even if you decide to not come on social media, you'll still be very connected to our parishioners as well.
Thank you.
So, Father, we have a very fun round for you now. There's this game called the rapid fire round. It's very famous in IC, and let's see how many questions you can answer in a minute. If you answer the most questions, we give you a prize.
That's
Are you ready, Father?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go in 3, 2, 1. Favorite food?
Rice curry and vegetable.
Okay, if not a priest, what would you be?
I thought I would be a lawyer because I wanted to support the marginalized and the poor in society.
Okay, so Father, who's your role model?
My role model is, you may smile at it, but that's true, Mother Mary.
Oh, that's a very nice one. It's a morning or night person?
I'm a morning person.
Dream destination in India?
Kashmir.
Oh. Favorite sport?
Hockey.
Favorite saint?
St. Joseph.
Favorite genre of music?
Rock, classical, pop.
A place where you unwind after a hectic phase?
My bedroom.
Khata ya meeta?
Qatar.
Favorite season?
Winter.
Chorizo or sorpatel?
Oh, yeah, I have to debate on this. Chorizo.
Tea or coffee?
Tea.
Reading or singing?
Reading.
Okay. 3 things you cannot live without.
Prayer, the Eucharist, and communicating with people.
A Bible verse that is close to your heart.
God so loved the world that he gave his only Son, so that all those who believe in him may not perish.
A song that makes you feel relaxed.
I would normally think about a classical piece.
Father, that was a really good rapid fire round. I think you answered all our questions in under less than a minute, in fact. So to get your prize, yeah.
It was not doctored, no. Thank you.
Okay, so Father, before we conclude, we would like to know what is your vision for IC Parish?
This is quite a challenging question. I've been thinking about it. In fact, when we have had an executive meeting with the Parish Pastoral Council, the first thing that I suggested is that we need to revisit the vision statement, which was formulated almost maybe 25 years ago. Okay. And today with changing cultural, social, political structures, I think we need to do that. Otherwise, we would get caught up in a web of the old, and we would not move forward. In fact, much has been achieved with that vision statement. Christ-centered families, then participative community, service to the poor and the marginalized. I liked it, beautiful. But today, if you ask me, we need to revisit that and restructure it, is because there is a cultural invasion into our lives. And if you do not take into cognizance what the culture is, I'm talking about the culture, prevalent culture, which is defining many young people. In fact, I feel we are losing out on the millennials. The 25 to the 32, we have practically lost them. They have become almost what I call non-affiliates. They have nothing to do with religion. They are good people, and they are good people. But they don't want to have anything to do with religious beliefs and truths, etc., because they are comfortable having created their own
social circle.
Yes, exactly. So this has been my goal. Try to introduce the whole kind of contemporary society into our vision statement without diluting and watering down our religiosity. So it would involve getting people more connected in their social field, emotional, psychological. What I've noticed also, there is a drop in mental wellness in our community. Many are going through a lot of crisis mentally, stress, etc. So this is what I would advocate.
Yeah, that generation does need a little pushing to do. So that's a really beautiful vision, Father, for our parish, and I really look forward for that happening of that. And Father, thank you so much for joining us today. And I really enjoyed the session a lot, and I'm looking forward to a lot more sessions like this. So, Father, we have, since our parishioners could not come physically and meet you, we have a little surprise for you. They've conducted this little small video, and I would like to show you just now.
Welcome, Father Gerry, to IC Parish. We'll help you to rock it.
Hello, Father Gerry. Welcome to IC Parish. With appreciation for your ministry, what I pray for you is guidance, wisdom, and compassion. What I wish for you is strength, courage, and perseverance. And what I give to you is support for your leadership, appreciation for your calling and gifts, and thanks for the person you are in Christ. So, here's a couplet just for you. Cherry and berry, sugar and spice. Wishing you, Father Gerry, everything nice. Thank you.
I welcome you, Father Gerry, to our parish as a parish priest. I look forward to work with you. All the best in your ministry. God bless you, Father.
Welcome, Father Gerald Fernandes, to IC Parish. We hope and pray that you have a long and successful innings. I now take this opportunity to present to you a few of the golden oldies on the harmonica. Thank you, Father. Thank you.
Hello, Father Gerry. On behalf of the youth, I warmly welcome you to our parish. We are more than delighted to have you here, and we cannot wait to get to know you. We are very, very excited for all the things that you have in mind for us. So, welcome once again, and we hope you love our parish and all of your beloved parishioners.
Dear Father Gerry, I'm so glad to welcome you to our family, the IC Parish. Thank you for coming to our parish. Under your spiritual guidance, we are sure to grow more in faith and to walk in the Lord's footsteps. I hope to see you soon, Father. Bye bye.
So, Father, I hope you really like that.
Yeah, thank
That's
you.
just a gist of what our IC parishioners
Yes,
are like. And I'm pretty sure they are eager to meet you and get to know you just how you want to meet them and get to
Yes,
know them.
Sure.
So, thank you, dear parishioners, for joining in today. And I really hope you got to know Father just as much as I came to know a lot more about him. Thank you for tuning in.
God bless each one of you.
Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun, it's alright.